Hey, what's up, people? It has been a long time since you guys seen my face. Yeah, I'm out here in the sun. As you can see, the sun is right behind me. Just taking that in. It's not exactly like hot today, just yet. I'm hoping that by the afternoon it starts to heat up. That'd be nice. But we're getting some sunshine, which is good. Still getting them rays coming in. Yeah. Just wanted to introduce myself again, or reintroduce myself. It's me, your main man, Professor Omni, Violet Star Productions. You know how we are. You know who we do, and who we do is what we are. We're omniversal, baby. Thought I'll just come quickly to Kings Park. It's a beautiful park. Very peaceful, very tranquil. Yeah, there's not that much spraying going on today, as you can see, which is nice. Can't see any real chemtrails or nothing in the sky right now, which is kind of busting. I'm liking that. It's making things kind of lit, to be honest. Yeah, man. 2023. Wild. This is definitely the time of revelations where, yeah, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if anyone's been clocking, but there's a lot going on across the globe, or across the plane, shall we say. Definitely, like I said, the time of revelations. So a lot has been happening recently. We can start off. Where did we start off? Well, I think the main thing right now that is like getting big global coverage right now, at least as far as I'm aware, or at least international coverage to some degree, is what's happening up in America. There's a lot of attacks going on in America via the elites. And if anyone doesn't realize it right now, we're actually in World War III already. We've been in World War III since 2012. And it's the people versus the elites. And that's exactly what's going on. And within this war, World War III, it's an information war, it's a eugenics war, it is a genetic war. There's also some terraforming going on as well, which is what a lot of this pollution and all this other stuff is going on, or even down to the chemical spills. Like I said, in America, like there's loads of them. I don't know if there's I heard there's more than 5. I heard there's near to 10 or maybe more. The bridge collapsed the other day there as well. Collapsed the other day in bunny ears, quotation marks. And obviously that had a train going over it, and that dropped, and it had 2 different types of things. I can't remember exactly which one it was. 2 different types of chemicals in there that spilt as well into the water. So if you look at where these things are happening, you can see it's a strategic plan. You can see they're strategically placed. These things are happening in certain areas. They're happening, always seem to be happening around rivers or main water providers, like rivers, streams, or even down to the sea and stuff as well, which has been happening for a long time. Over in UK, which we've been getting for a long time, they dump sewage basically into our water. So while you guys are getting chemical spills and stuff like that, killing your creatures, we're getting the same but different. We're getting it from our waste basically, and they've been doing that for a long time. You can imagine they've been doing it for a long time. The thing is, what's happening is that the elites are on their last legs. Basically, they're scurrying around trying to finish their agenda, because they know that the time is finishing. So what's happening is that they're trying everything in their power to finish what they started, to try and fulfill their sort of prophecy, if you know what I mean. And in their prophecy, they have to have a certain amount of people that are left on the earth to be controlled, to be more controllable. So the rest of us have to bounce, basically. Then you have things like the firmament, and they're talking about the firmament now, and you go onto NASA's pages and stuff, you talk about the firmament. Look, you see, there's a comtrail. I don't know if you can see that. See how it dissipates with the planes moving? That's called a comtrail. That's just, yeah. That's just that's air condensation. So you got a contrail there. But then, yeah, we know about the chemtrails. So, like I said, like chemtrails will form clouds, or supposed clouds, like that thing there. If you can see that one with the weird lines and stuff. Real clouds look more like that. Even though I know that they have cloud makers now as well at NASA. But real clouds look more like that. They're more fluffy. They've got more body to them. You know, they just look more real. Basically, they look more natural, naturally made, nature based. Yeah, it's been wild. Yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously, you guys might know already, but my pops passed during the pandemic as well. Second year of the pandemic. We didn't even get to. We cremated him. He wanted to be cremated, so we cremated him, which is, to be honest, probably the best thing you guys could do for your family members, especially nowadays in this crazy ass world where they are doing multiple different things. There's witchcraft going on. There's all sorts of stuff going on. The governments are involved, the elites or whatever are involved, and all that kind of stuff. So it's best to cover up, you know, like make sure you're protecting yourself. Keep exercised, keep fit. Listen to those frequencies that you can get on YouTube or any other different places as well, where they're 400 and whatever hertz above. Yeah, go to as high as you can, or as high as you can find, basically. Do that every night. Just put your phone on charge, like beside your bed or whatever. I don't know. Put your phone on charge and just let that play in the background. Keep it away from you, obviously, because of the all those the radiation and stuff on the phones or whatever. While it's charging, it boosts up as radiation as well. So keep that away from you, but also keep it loud enough just so you can hear it in the background. It will really help balance you through the night, and help cleanse you, obviously, depending on the frequency you get and the frequency you're using. Also, talking about frequencies, because this is just like a big random, just talking about random topics that's been happening recently. Yeah, speaking of frequencies, we do know that we're going through a solar cycle right now, and there's also solar flares coming out of coronal mass ejections coming from the sun, which is raising the frequency of the planet, which has been happening since 2012, and obviously before then as well. We're going through the what they call the Kuiper belt or the elliptical belt or whatever, the universal band, which has frequencies that go up and down like a Richter scale or something like that, and we are approaching a higher. It's energetic. It's not necessarily physical, but we're approaching a higher frequency, like the higher part of those bands, if you want to call it those waves. Yeah. So looking forward to that as well. That's going to be fantastic. That's going to be great. Yeah, I think the main thing now would be to know yourself. To know who you are, know what you are really. I can tell you a little experience I had. I've obviously told you guys, I think I told you this before, where I've had a natural DMT experience. DMT is dimethyltryptamine. Your pineal gland, which is your first eye, not your third eye. They call it the third eye, but it's the first eye that starts to grow in the body physically, and it starts growing in your brain physically before your actual other eyes are developed completely as well. So that's pretty good. You can look it up and find out yourself. Yeah, so the first eye, the pineal gland, it's wanting to receive many different frequencies anyway, because we are an omniconduit, as I said before. So my experience of a natural DMT experience, I had a travel experience where I wanted to go off the Earth, off the planet, or shall I say the plane, and experience outer space, if you want to call it that. Experience different realms, different worlds, whatever the case may be. And also different speeds. It was mostly about speed, this one. Went underneath my blankets, because like a natural DMT experience, it can come from, let's say, like sleep deprivation, like lack of sleep, it can come from lack of food, water, or a near-death experience, which is anything basically that puts you on the edge. So when people fast, they say they're getting closer to God. They're fasting, what it's doing is getting them closer to near death, basically. You're pushing yourself closer to that, which will open up your pineal gland. Naturally, that's just what happens. And then people start to have trips, and different experiences and stuff. So you'll see that through many historical books and whatever, like the Bible and whatever the case may be. People fast and whatever, and they have these trips. I think it even happened to Ezekiel as well at one point, with the Ezekiel Raw thing, and Jacob's Ladder and all this other stuff. these people were having trips, So basically, what happens is that with this natural DMT thing, it will allow you to start seeing things like sparks, like like people say you see stars. Like if someone punches you or whatever, or you get hit by something, and then you start like tripping out or whatever, and then you see like these little twinkly lights and stuff. That's your DMT trying to kick in. That's almost like you tuning into like a frequency on a TV or whatever, to get into a certain channel, whatever the case may be. So you're between you going to sleep and getting to the REM or whatever the case may be, and also you conking out and going to actually sleep, like to rest and whatever. What happens is that you will start to experience these little sparkly, twinkly little things or whatever the case may be, which shows you that your brain is trying to, or your mind or whatever, is trying to go over to the other side in that sense of, like the dream world or reality, as I would call it. Because this is actually, life is but a dream, That's where that song comes from. Life is but a dream. That's where the song comes from. It comes from the fact that this is the dream. This supposed reality is the dream. And when you dream, when you actually cock out and go to sleep, that's when you actually are free, and not Freemason, but free, because we know how words are tricky, especially English words or spells, but free as in you're limitless, basically. You're limited to your own imagination, or what kind of things you can tune into. Because when they say imagination, it's to do with your frequencies, what you're tapping into. You're tapping into the ether, which is your higher self, your omnivision, your omniversion. Because we are omniconduits, like I said. So this is just us having an experience, or choosing to have an experience in it's like almost like perfection. If something's perfect, it can only have an experience of itself, So that's exactly what's happening right now. We are perfection having an experience of itself. So like I was saying before with this natural DMT stuff, I was laying down, I started to see the little twinkles and stuff. I was at the computer or whatever. It was probably, I don't know how much after 12 at night or in the morning or whatever you want to call it. At the computer, not researching anything to do with anything like that at all, just on the computer. I can't remember, it was like Facebook or whatever back in the day, I can't remember. Because this was time ago. And what happened is that I started to see the little twinkles and this little stars, if you want to call it that. I was like, you know what? I know about DMT. This is a natural DMT experience waiting to happen. I want to have a natural DMT experience. What happened was I went, covered myself over on the sofa with a sheet, and decided to have this experience. I closed my eyes, said I want to go off planet. Feel myself going off planet. So that's exactly what I started to do. I started to rise off the planet, and it started off at the speed of sound. So I was going, like breaking whatever it is, Mach 1 or whatever. Then I travelled off planet. So I'm seeing myself off planet, moving away from Earth now. Off plane, if you want to call it that. Travelling now. As I approach the speed of sound, the speed of light, and just about at the precipice of light, basically, the speed of light, I get stopped by a group of beings, and these beings are evil beings. These beings are negative beings, and they're stopping me, telling me, why am I here? How did I get here? I shouldn't be here. How do I even know about this place? Ret-a-tear. And I basically told them, I shut them down. I said to them, listen, this is my experience I chose to have. Nothing you can do about it. This is what I'm going to do, and this is the experience I'm having. So, left those guys, and there were different people in that group. There was different entities, if you want to call that, in that group, different creatures, beings, all having different, they look different as well. Some of them were big and blocked out and really furry, like fuzzy. That's all you could see, like a big square, blocky, fuzzy thing. Almost looked like the creatures from, what do you call it? From Serious Sam, but without the eyes. Shout out to Serious Sam as well. That game was serious for real. But yeah, then you had obviously the tall reptilian greys, you had the tall greys, you had the short greys, you know, and whatever the case may be, you had different types of beings there. I think the Nordics and the Palladians, whatever they're like, because in every group you'll have, just like on Earth as well, with people, some of us are positive and some of us are negative, you know. Some of us have been exposed to, you know, more destructive ways and, you know, a destructive upbringing, and some of us have been raised with a more balanced, structured upbringing, you know. So, and it will show, you know. And like I said, it's almost like having a brain, or an omni brain, like a big brain that is classed as the omniverse, and this big brain is playing out its thoughts basically, and we are its thoughts. So, you know, like I said, with perfection, it's just not perfection by itself. Perfection means that you've gone through all the trials and errors to get you to that place where you've grown so much to the point where you're perfect. So that's what this reality is. It's having an experience of that perfection basically, in all its factors and all its different levels and all its different methods and ways, you know. That's literally what we're experiencing right now. That goes, you know, omniversally. So that's not just for us people of Earth or whatever, but as people that extraterrestrials, interdimensionals, whatever the case may be. Yeah, it goes for everybody basically. So, like I said, when beyond the speed of light now, leaving these negative beings, and what that made me realize is that they can only exist below light and around light, that sort of frequencies. They can't exist beyond those frequencies. They literally can't. They physically can't. Just like how I said, we're going through you know, a raising of consciousness and a vibrational frequency heightening on this planet and with this planet and in this planet or plane. What's happening is that, and people have spoken about it quite a few times recently as well. Quite like it's happening quite a lot. People, it's like a hot topic. The fact that there are going to be there's going to be a shift, and there's going to be two different types of Earth in that sense. There's going to be the old Earth frequency, which people will obviously still be in. People that are, you know, keeping anchor to this planet, you know, the plane, or anchor to things in this world and stuff, which is why you get ghosts and things like that, because they anchor themselves by holding on to things like that, you know, like worldly goods, or, you know, like emotional ties and all this other jazz. And we're not meant to be anchored like that. We're meant to be, for lack of a better term, frivolous. In the right way, anyway. In the right way, yeah. It's just like, we're not meant to have any chains. We're not meant to be restricting ourselves. We're not meant to say, oh, I can't, basically. Because we can do everything. We can do anything. We literally are everything and anything. So going back to all my experience, because this will explain it as well, or at least give an example. Left those guys, like I said, the negative guys, and as I was leaving them, I was traveling faster and faster. So this is all flight. It's all like a flight sort of thing through you know, outer space. Well, it's actually internal space, but so I was taking this journey, this flight, and as I was doing this, I was going across planets and planes, and there was all these negative beings on there to a certain degree, and I'm reaching these planets like ridiculously quick. So you could imagine they say like a space between planets is, you know, this X amount of astronomical units and all that jazz. But me, I was reaching these planets less than seconds apart, and I was going across the surfaces of the planets, and I was mashing up, burying these demonic entities, all these negative entities and stuff. I was just like punching them all of them up, yeah. And as I was doing that, I was increasing in speed. So I was going so fast to the point where those guys got left behind, and I actually got stopped by another group, but this group was a positive group. And for the life of me, I can't remember the conversation, which goes to show, for me at least, from my experiences, that it was a private chat basically, or something that is meant to be for a more spiritual me, basically. It's not meant to be for me to physically remember now. It's meant to be for later, and it will come and it will, reveal itself at the correct time or the correct moment, if you want to call it that. Because time is just an idea. Time is a idea for measurement, made by humans mostly. But because you wouldn't guess I'm near to 40 years old in human time years. You wouldn't guess that. I look more 18, if anything. But yeah, I feel 0, so that's all good. So yeah, leaving these guys after the conversation we had, the positive guys, positive entities, beings, or whatever. What happened next? Okay, so left them, and I was still traveling faster and faster and faster and faster, to the point where I got so fast that I basically stopped moving. I've reached the speed of speed. So for those who are not aware, speed actually does have a limit. Once you reach speed's limit, then you become, or at least you have the awareness, the experience of becoming everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. It's almost like being completely still and have everything. Like, it's hard to explain. You're seeing, you're seeing universes like they are solar systems, in a sense. It's weird. Oh, I don't even know how to explain it. It's such a weird thing because you're seeing it on such a grand scale that you're seeing it all. Like, you're seeing every universe, you're seeing, every frequency, you're feeling all of it as well. So you're completely connected. Like, when I reached that point, that precipice, I knew that I could do, like, I was every moment to come, every moment before, or apparently before, or whatever, supposedly before, because we know that time is, like I said, one of them things where it's not really that, anyway, like, everything is existent at the same moment, if you want to call it that, just at different frequencies, and then it's omnidirectional, just like it's omni-diagonal and we're omniversal, so it goes in every single direction, in every different type of way it could possibly go. So it's just full, basically. And we are full, that's the whole point, we are the omniverse, so that's my main thing. So experiencing that, yeah, it really did change my life, and it took me about, I would say, 6 to 8 years just to really process that whole thing. And I know it sounds like 6 to 8 years, that's a long time, but no, you'll be surprised. Like, having that experience, most people, especially if it's natural DMT as well, most people would probably like lose the plot. Do you know what I mean? They'll go a bit, they'll be a bit crazy or whatever, because of how intense that experience was. So I knew I had to slow myself down in that sense and break it all down, like process it throughout years, like obviously try and live a normal life at the same time, and get on with things, but also never forgetting that experience, well, I should never could, because it's like a good trauma in a sense, if you could call it that. But yeah, flipping heck, mate, that was an experience and a half. That was an experience and a half. Yeah, and I'm still processing that, to be honest. I know there's still a lot more to learn. Like I said, that even down to the conversation I had with the positive beings, I still don't know what we said. So, yeah. But yeah, I thought I would just quickly holler you guys anyway, and just let you know where my mind has been at for the last, 2 years? I can't remember how long I've been in it, 3 years. All of a sudden we're getting these clouds, look. Yeah. And I think that's probably why they're not spraying so much, because they knew that it was going to be a cloudy day to some degree, like a natural cloudy day. They tell us they're blocking out the sun to stop the harmful UV rays and all this other jazz. And what's the other thing? What's the word? Climate control. That's it. And climate change. Yeah, that's what they keep saying, isn't it? For those who are not aware, Earth has cycles. Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, or whatever you want to call her, is alive. She's an actual entity. She's alive. I felt her breathe before. I've actually put my hands on the floor and felt her Earth breathe one time when I was younger, and that was like wild. Like, you could literally feel her breathe. And it's weird because she breathes, and then as she's breathing, you can see the wind. It's like she's breathing and she's breathing through the wind, or the wind's reacting to her breathing. It's like it's moving at the same time. It's really weird. But anyway, yeah. She is alive. Yeah, Gaia's alive. She's going through changes, guys. She goes through her own cycles, just like how a mother goes through her cycles, or a female, or even a male goes through his weird cycles as well, you know. That's one of them things that is a natural thing. That's part of nature. She's changing with the frequencies of the sun, you know, which in that sense is the father to us. In that sense, seeing as Earth will be the mother, the sun will be a father, you know. I'm not saying we should worship these things, or we shouldn't, but I'm just saying, like, we should also be aware of these things, you know. But yeah, like I was saying, she's waking up. She's already awake. She's going through her changes. We're at the end of an ice age, even though we have an ice wall around us. We're still at the end of an ice age. Yeah, there are probably multiple realms. Well, not probably, they are multiple realms. They're all connected, either through each other or, you know, a roundabout omniversal way. On top of that as well, if you notice how, and these are just, like I said, random just topics and stuff that's been going on recently, but if you look at a lot of the films, movies and stuff they're making nowadays, there's a lot of emphasis on being underwater. Even this new Meg one is going to be based on the Mariana Trench, and look at that, it's just come out. It's coming out after these rich millionaires or whatever went down in that sub, supposedly to the Titanic. Some people are saying it's a ritualistic you know, thing that happened to make them de-lived, as I call it, or, you know, maybe they actually found some creatures, or some creatures found them underneath there and took them out. We just don't know. We do not, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're on the surface right now, innit? So unless we do like remote viewing or something like that, then, you know, it's not going to be a good look. So they'll always lie to us, basically. There's no point in that. So, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. I haven't done one of these in such a long time, so I'm gonna go and have a listen to it and look at it and see, because it's been a hot minute, yeah. But this is your main man. This is Mike Check, Professor Omni. Is it me? By the Star Productions, baby. We back. Yeah, just here in my kimono shirt, just chilling in the sun. Up in Kings Park, as I be a king. Do you see me? Kings Royal. I think we got B-ball today, up in that court over there. Got my new bike here, just chilling with my bike. Electrified, baby. Yeah, man, we're just doing our thing. Got a look at Zoogies and just chilling, man. You see me? But yeah, people, love. Don't let the enemy steal your joy. Know that you are way more powerful than them, and they're on their last legs. They're shaking in their boots right now, which is why they're trying to throw every single type of attack they can, because they've only got like a year left before things get locked in. There's a lot of secret war stuff going on, and secret battles going on. And like I said to you guys, we are in World War III. If people don't realize this, we've been in World War III for a minute. And it is the people versus the elite. We are the people, and the elites are trying to top us off, and we've got to get rid of them. It's as simple as that. It's like a big movie right now. Earth, I've always seen Earth and this world and this life as a big bloody movie, because they have to reveal, it's omniversal law that allows them, or they have to reveal their their plot. Basically, they have to reveal their plans, and they normally do it through media, whether it's sci-fi as they call it, or even fake news. Like literally, yeah, a lie couldn't exist without a truth, guys. So anytime you see them, any type of lie, or even if they talk about cryptids and things like that, oh, a cryptid is something that's not been, discovered by a redditor and can't be explained and all this other jazz. At the end of the day, is what I'm trying to say is, people cannot make things up from nothing. Okay, so they've obviously had some sort of an experience where they've seen something for them to even design or come up with this whole thing in the first place. So a lie cannot exist without a truth, guys. That's my point. There's always a truth in everything that you hear. Take everything with a pinch of salt and a pinch of sugar, depending on if it's sweet or sour. That's the main thing to do in those situations. Yeah? Peace and love, peeps.